one of the things we're seeing now is Chat GPT.
Mm-hmm, right.
Chat GPT, which is this fascinating AI program that essentially scours the entire internet for answers for things and is so good at it. The answers for things, for just data, people are getting diagnosed with certain diseases based on symptoms and blood work, and it's super accurate. Legal papers, it could fill out legal forms, and it's wild the capacity that it has right now.
You can pass the bar exam that way too.
Yes.
The bar exam can be passed with a chatbot.
Yeah, it's like 98%, right? Now, here's the question. If quantum computing gets involved in AI, what are we looking at?
Well, first of all, AI is a software program. We're talking about homogenizing different kinds of essays on the web, splicing them together, and then passing it off as your latest creation. Basically, plagiarism using digital computers. It's a software question. However, quantum computers is bigger than that. Quantum computers is a hardware question where it actually increases your ability to do much more than with an ordinary digital computer. So the two of them, the chatbots that are a revolution in software, and then quantum computers, which are a revolution in hardware, when they get together, watch out. So we're talking about an extremely powerful alliance between software and hardware. Now, also, as you know, chatbots will also lie, cheat, swindle, joke, and do all sorts of crazy things.
Yes.
If you're a high school kid, you could write all sorts of science fiction scenarios, and some chatbot may grab pieces of that nonsense and incorporate it into their essay.
Oh, interesting. So it can't discern what's accurate.
Exactly. The whole point. This is the whole ball of wax. Chatbots do not know what is correct or incorrect.
They just gather information so they could be gamed.
That's right. All they do is homogenize, cut up existing things that sound human, put it together, and then people say, my God, that sounds like a human wrote it. Of course, a human did write it.
Isn't that interesting that they could game that also if they wanted to find out what percentage of people believed a certain thing? If they had some bad actors, some foreign governments that decided they were going to spread narratives as widely as possible, and Chat GPT just gathers up all this information, it could give you an incorrect understanding of what's happening in the world. It can give you an incorrect understanding of politics, of economics.
The whole point is that even though there's a good aspect to all these software programs, the downside is that you can fabricate truth because it cannot tell the difference between false and what is false and what is true.
That's very interesting.
If you talk to the chatbot and say, do you know the difference between correct and incorrect? And they say, no, it's just on the web. They're just instructed to cobble together existing paragraphs, splice them together and polish it up, and then spit it out. But is it correct? It doesn't care. It doesn't know.
So it is essentially like an amazing resource of information that's very flawed, that can't discern and can't think.
I do this. I have this problem all the time. I'm a professor, and I give assignments to the students, sometimes write a term paper. So what do? Some of them plagiarize.
Oh, how do you catch them?
Well, you read the essay, and then you read another essay, and you say, I've heard that before. I've seen that expression.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, right. The old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
But you see, that's what a chatbot is. A chatbot is like a teenager that plagiarizes other people's essays, passes it off as their own. Now, I'm a scientist. We like to think about things that are creative, new, innovative, things that'll change our perception of the world. None of that. Absolutely none of that comes from a chatbot. A chatbot simply rearranges pre-existing essays. That's all it does.
The thing is, though, that's all it does now. That's what's interesting. What's interesting is what you're talking about with quantum computing and the insane computational power.
Right.
And then apply that to having access to all of the information.
Right. But there's a good aspect, too. You know, when I write a book, my publisher has a fact checker. A fact checker that goes through all the different statements that I make to make sure that they're all correct. There is no fact checker for chatbots. Let me repeat that again. There is no fact checker for chatbots. That is the whole ball of wax. That's the reason why they're so dangerous. Because they don't know. These chatbots are machines. They don't know what is correct, what is incorrect. It's all the same to them. That's the danger, that they could incorporate teenagers ranting and raving about all sorts of garbage and put that in with articles that sound reasonable. You see? That's the problem. Now, here's where quantum computers come in. Quantum computers can act as a fact checker. You can ask a quantum computer to remove all the garbage, remove all the nonsense in these articles, and it'll do that. So, in other words, the hardware may be a check on some of the wild statements made by software.
But the problem with that is, who's the arbiter of the information? Like, who decides what's real and what's not? How does the chatbot decide? Is the chatbot ideologically biased?
The chatbot doesn't. The chatbot simply spits it out.
The quantum computing does.
Yeah, quantum computing can then...
it's going to be able to discern what's real and what's not real, even what's propaganda?
If there are gradations of what is true, like it is partially true or whatever, it could give you the detailed understanding of what could be misconstrued, what is partially correct, what is misleading but partially correct. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right now, the chatbot just splices it together like an editor. That's all it is, an editor, not a fact checker, and spits out cobbled together articles that sound reasonable, but there could be dynamite inside some of these articles that were spliced into what was proposed. With a quantum computer, you can fact check things. And then you can say, this is 90% correct, this is totally wrong, this is sometimes correct, and you get gradations of what is correct and incorrect.